Alright, so boom. You got this masked man driving in a death race, sitting next to fine shit. And their main objective is to just make it past the finish line. But like I said, this is a death race. And anything goes. Even franchise crossovers, because ain't this Tyrese? So with Tyrese lighting their ass up like a tree on December 25th, they go to defensive maneuvers. But then they find out they have no defenses to maneuver. So they're cooked basically. Then this smooth brain baboon over here thought of a not so bright idea to drop the only thing protecting the most vulnerable thing on his car, the gas tank. Talking about some
drop the tombstone.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Like, no, gang, do not drop that tombstone. You want to know what happened as soon as he dropped it? And no, your eyes do not deceive you. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the finish line. In his own words, there was a quarter of a mile left to the finish line. So all he had to do was hold out for a little longer and he would have won. But nah, he want to go and
drop the tombstone.
At least fine shit made it out. And then we get a title card. Shout out Dead Meat. After the intro, we cut to the main protagonist of this movie, Jensen. This nigga's name is Jensen. Sorry about that. That was unprofessional. Jensen over here is unfortunately losing his job because the company that he works for is closing. What makes this situation even more shitty is that he has a wife and kid to take care of. So after chopping it up with the boys, they go outside to get their last check. And for the last 2 weeks, Jensen been putting in work. He got 120 hours on the clock. Now let's play a little game. How much money do you think he's gonna get paid for 120 hours? Is it A, $5K? Is it B, $2,500? Or is it C, $300? And if you guessed $300, you would be correct. This nigga basically got robbed. And not only did Jensen get robbed out of his money, so did every other working man there. So what do you think happened once they found out that they didn't get their full check? All hell broke loose is what happened, and then 12 pulled up to try to keep the peace. But as we can imagine, that did not happen. So with Buddy taking a rubber bullet to the knee, Jensen then steps up and tries to put belt to ass. But that didn't go as planned either. What did he do to make them niggas that mad? And after a long day of not getting no money and getting beat up, he gets to go home to his wife and kid. And everything seemed good. The wife was cooking, the husband was relaxing, the baby was put to bed. And then boom, this nigga popped up out of nowhere like, where did you come from?
I got you now, SpongeBob.
So Jensen goes downstairs to find his wife laying on the floor, but he can't find her reboot card. Then somebody sneaked up on him, knocked him out, put a knife in his hand so it can look like he did the murder. And of course, 12 shows up and they think Jensen killed his wife. And it's off to the slammer with my boy. Free Jensen till it's backwards, nigga. Immediately upon arrival at this new prison, Jensen gets hosed down by this freak ass nigga. Like, why are you staring at him like that, bro?
Come on, man, get your freaky ass on, man, okay?
After getting oiled down, Jensen gets taken to his new cell where the freak shit just don't stop. As soon as he walks in, he's getting kisses blown at him by a nigga making pig noises.
Get naked before I come over there and take it. Bro, what is wrong with you? That's what's starting to be all up in your ass.
Sometime later, Jensen gets called into the warden's office and she makes him an offer to drive in the death race. The only stipulation is he has to drive as Frank and not Jensen. Frank is the guy from the intro.
Drop the tombstone.
And it's basically a win-win because if you win 5 death races in a row, you get to go free. And Frank already won 4. So all he has to do is win 1 and he gets to go home. Then after the meeting with the warden, Jensen goes to the yard to just chill. And I'm not gonna lie, this part of the movie has nothing to do with the story. I just thought it was really funny because Tyrese called Jensen a monkey. Out of all the things he could have called Jensen, pretty ironic coming from a group of them. So with race day finally here, Jensen does his walkout as Frank, aka Frankenstein. So with him driving the same car as Frank, it's only natural that he gets the same navigator, which is the girl that dipped out on him right before he crashed. So with the race finally underway, Jensen can show them boys how he really get down on Rainbow Road. And Jensen got a good start off the line because as of right now, he in 2nd place. But since Jensen is driving as Frank and nobody likes Frank because he only has 1 more race to win, they're all coming after Frank. And They treating this nigga like a human pinball machine. Then here come his hating ass. Like, bro, he been on Frank meat for the past 6 months and Frank been dead. Like, bro, he drove past 2 other people just to rear end this nigga. But bro, no, not what he did. Because he didn't know Jensen was a master in car jutsu. He backed up into another car, got spun around, did a 360, caught it, and got back in the race. Absolute peak driving skills. Vin Diesel would be jealous.
I used to live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Also, rest in peace, Paul Walker. You were and still are a legend. You will be missed. You may be gone, but you are not forgotten. But then Jensen got knocked into last place and he lost that race. But in doing so, he found out who may have murdered his wife and staged it on him. So sometime later after the race, Jensen gets jumped by a group of guys, and one of those guys just so happens to be the guy from the race. Then Jensen channels his inner YN and shows the both of them why he's the final boss of all big four-headed niggas. Cause yeah, damn, that motherfucker glistening, ain't it? It's like you don't know where the forehead starts or where it ends. It's like an optical illusion. It's like an infinity pool. But back to the fight. Jensen weaves the shit out of that Mohawk guy.
Ooh, got his ass.
Then weaved him one more time and hit him with a right elbow followed by a left straight, then a right hook that'll make Mike Tyson wet his panties. Then he threw him through the shelf. But come to find out, it was him that murdered his wife and staged it on him. But he said that the warden hired him to do it. But before he could get his revenge, he got tased from behind and went unconscious. So the next race day rolls around and Jensen has a plan. So right when the lights turn green, Jensen is slow off the start, but it's for a reason. And the reason behind the slow start is to press fine shit about what happened to the last Frank. See, Jensen caught on to a couple things, and he thinks that she sabotaged Frank and got him killed. And now he's trying to see if she's trying to do the same thing to him. And turns out she was. She was hired by the warden.
She belongs to the streets.
And now that he found out the truth, he's okay with it. So he gets back into the race. But in order to catch up, he gotta hit that nitrous button. And then out of nowhere, he has Hall of Fame Chase on and caught up from dead last all the way to first place. And I guess Jensen is on demon time right now, because right after he stared down the warden, he pit maneuvered Machine Gun Joe. And with nobody else to take care of at the moment, Jensen takes the opportunity to get revenge on his wife's murderer. But Jensen knew that he didn't want that defensive weapon and went straight for the offensive weapon. And then he hit the meanest 180 and went band for band with this nigga. But Jensen knew he couldn't keep that up for much longer with the other guy's car being more heavily armored than his. So he came up with a better plan. And that plan was to 180 back around, hit him with a smoke screen, and have him crash into a cement block. That was absolutely genius. I wouldn't have done it better myself. So after that race, the warden called an emergency meeting just to talk shit, basically. And she was high-key throwing shade at Jensen.
I'm like, what he say fuck me for?
Saying some of y'all ain't fit to be fathers, or y'all are terrible husbands, and look straight at Jensen. But during the meeting, the whole time she was plotting on Jensen. She had her officers go plant a bomb under his car in the hopes of blowing him up in the next race. Even though he might have won, nobody was going to walk out alive. She was lying to him the whole time. She was not going to set him free. So with the official final race underway, it is only Jensen and Machine Gun Joe going head to head with each other. And at this point, they are trying to take each other's heads off. But what the warden and her officers don't know is that Jensen and Joe been chatting on the side, and they came up with a genius plan. They just got to make their fight look believable until it's that time. And as soon as they hit the final stretch, Joe hit Jensen up on the radio and he gave him the code word, and Jensen already knew what type of time it was. So when Jensen got into position, Joe fired 3 rocket launchers right at him, and everybody thought he was gone. But turns out Joe shot the wall in front of him and they both drove through it. And now that they executed their plan perfectly, they're almost home free. All they gotta do now is drive through the main gate and lose the helicopters. Jensen even had a plan for the bomb because, of course, when you're racing cars, you have to do pre-vehicle inspections, and they found the bomb. But with Joe and Jensen still not able to shake the helicopters, they moved to their final plan, and that's to split up and have Fine Shit sacrifice herself by putting on Jensen's old suit with the mask, while Jensen and Joe get on a train and ride all the way to freedom. But their work still not done yet. You remember how the pit crew took off the bomb? Well, they sent it right back to the warden. So with the warden dead and the 2 boys free, they somewhere down in Mexico working on cars now until they get pulled up on by a mysterious person. But it turns out to be fine shit. Yes, sir. And Jensen got his daughter back too. But that's the end of this video. If you like it, go ahead and leave a like and a comment down below. And I'm sorry for how long this took, but I be busy, man. But I'll see you in the next